Yeah, I think this is sort of, where the whole debate goes even into food. Like we all need some food and everything. The quantity is somewhat, and what it is important in some ways, but what's most important is quality. I think we
Absolutely.
could all use some vitamin D when we're in the winter and not getting, any sun and living indoors more and more. That's not the
Yes.
question anymore. It's what is the quality of the vitamin D you're taking? Are you going to the
Right.
corner store and buying the cheapest stuff you can find? Or are you actually paying a
Uh,
little bit for a producer that's actually making a quality one, right? That's the big thing.
Absolutely. And vitamin D is huge because I can't tell you how many people come in on some random vitamin D and like it's not working. Your body's not absorbing it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I actually find often it's the liquid and liposomal forms of D that absorb better. Like I have patients who can't absorb D from their genetics too, and then you have to add broccoli sprouts, so then their level just goes right up.
Yep.
Or they're taking a brand that's I said, well, I don't know what you're taking, but it's not your level on your blood work is nothing, so it's not absorbing. And then I put them
Yeah.
on a better one, and lo and behold, a month later, their levels are going up. So absolutely, like the quality, how it absorbs, how the body takes it in,
Yeah.
huge.
And like even going back to the diet, I read today that the average American, 60% of calories come from ultra processed foods. And,
Yeah.
we already knew ultra processed results in diabetes, cancer, all these things, obesity. But now they're finding over 10 years of research of studying this, it's really impacting our brains. And I think this information is pretty well known. I'm sure people like you and other great doctors are saying, please don't eat that ultra processed crap, right? It's not
Right.
doing you any favors, but nothing's changed. It's like we have 10 years of
Yeah.
data showing it's shown to increase anxiety, depression, cognitive dysfunction, decline, and on top of that, of course, obesity, as I said, metabolic dysfunction, everything else. Do you think we are at this place where we need to kind of rewire our brains? I know that's big with like Dispenza, and a lot of what you do is rewiring the brain, especially when we have so much information coming in that is contradictory. You could have ultra processed foods that say organic, that say all these healthy things on them. We
Right.
eat them and we go there. Do you think it's like a something we have to do to rewire society's brain to kind of move past it? Because it seems like we're gaining all this information that this is so harmful for us. And yet we're still doing the same thing for convenience, for, I don't know, just the comfort level or our belief system. Like, is it time we need to get people to figure out how to rewire the brain so it doesn't go to that anymore? Because the data is showing us nothing's changing, or it's
Yeah.
getting worse.
That's a really, really great question. I think a complex one because what we're talking about too is we're going into the human psyche here,
Mm,
right? In the state of consciousness, because we can have all this information out about certain things that are toxic, like Roundup, right? Glyphosate. How much
yeah,
more do we need to know how bad it is, right?
right. Yeah.
And so um and yet somehow I feel like if all this information can be out there and kind of hover almost in the air,
Hmm.
but if it doesn't go deep, even deep into our consciousness and maybe even deeper into our below the consciousness into the subconscious and
Yeah.
into our belief system, that
Right.
there's something that because I think we're so overwhelmed with how much we have to deal with every day, whatever's convenient, whatever's easier. It's very hard to let go of that. I mean, I
Hmm.
understand that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're in the world I have noticed since I grew up as a kid in the 80s. This is so much faster paced. So I I think your point and then the question is how do we rewire our brains? And the lovely thing is there's so many ways.
Hmm.
Um I found that my daughter's not getting into deep delta wave sleep. I think because of there's been a lot of viruses since
Hmm.
kids were inside for so long and during the pandemic and now or during COVID and now they're out. And um, anyway, I found out that, and it's probably because of all the infections she's gotten, she's not getting into deep delta wave sleep. So I'm doing a lot of rewiring of her brain with neurofeedback and
Mm.
magnesium and certain supplements that are testing for her. Um, and of course, food is huge as well. So the good news is there's like, and of course we already talked about meditation, but there's an energy medicine and all these great machines out there now, and in innovative medicine, I think what do you have 95 of these machines? I
Over a
think
hundred now. Yeah.
over
Yeah.
100, amazing. So there's so much we can do to rewire nervous systems and body, and But I think your point is we have a lot of tools to support our bodies in the 21st century. With all of our bombarded by toxins, by media, by too much screen time, by 5G, um, by the bugs that are getting into our bodies more easily in food, and and the Lyme disease rates are growing because we have some more ticks now, all these things. But the point is this: I think what you're saying is you can have all this clear information of what's supportive for a human being, and we could all know it. But if it doesn't get deeper into our nervous system, that like this something that really has to change on a whole cultural level, on a humanity level, it may not change, or it may lag for a long time.
Yeah, it's a a complex issue with so many pieces to it, as you said, and a lot of this is what you're wired with at birth, right? Or
Yes.
through the early ages, I should say.
Yeah.
Most people say by age 7 or so, your beliefs are kind of in there in the subconscious, and then they're reinforced over time or not. And you could break free, but it's very difficult because may not even remember something is there. And this idea maybe of eating a certain way when you're young and just saying, okay, it was good then, my belief system is good now, no matter what the data shows me,
Right.
that it's even
People
killing me and I feel bad, that won't change my belief because it's, in a deep subconscious state.
That's interesting. And people, it's really hold on to food specifically.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to shift. And it's not that, and people should be orthorexic,
Yeah.
which is just obsessing all the time and on these perfect diets or needing to cleanse all the time. Or you can go crazy with being perfect about food too. So it's not about
Absolutely.
perfection, but it's an awareness of what our bodies really need, and even awareness of what's not right with food anymore, and that we're not getting certain minerals, and how we can either improve food over time in agriculture to make that better, and also what we can supplement with. But
Yeah.